My name is Geoff Sutton. I'm the head of MSN for International. So that's all the markets outside of the US. How I would try and crack it, I think, is really around, as I was sort of said, talking about what I can bring, trying to find the gaps in the business as I perceive them, and going in with strong suggestions, strong ideas. Maybe go and build something online that would demonstrate how that would work. You have to demonstrate it. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who's got a small video business, and he's trying to get his video business in to work with companies like ours. And you know, he has to show us the videos that they've been working on that stand out, because otherwise there's no way we're even going to consider it. You can't just say, oh, I'm a video guy. You have to show why you're creating something special and interesting. It's worth developing confidence, and if you're someone who's not confident, then start to think about what is it that makes you feel confident. It might be wearing the right clothes, it might be, you know, combing your hair in a certain way, or you know, there's all sorts of ways to make yourself feel better. But ultimately, I think it's also about just understanding who you are. So be confident about who you are. Everyone has qualities, everyone has strengths, so develop the strengths. I think there's too much focus at times on people's weaknesses. People are like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And I think developing the strengths, developing the things that you're good at, and bringing them to the fore is much, much more important than worrying about what you're weak at. Don't ever get stuck in a job that you hate. And I have made those changes. I mean, I left the Daily Mail. I was at the Daily Mail twice. I left there the second time because I hated it. I was in a job here at Microsoft and got to a point where I was hating it, and went to my boss and said, I don't want to do this job anymore. I want to do something else. And at that point, I didn't know if there was a something else. And you know, something emerged and came up, and my career kept rolling. So I think if you're in a job you don't like, don't stay in it, move on. Do it on your own terms, so don't just walk out the door in a huff. Just, you know, work on when you go and what you do, but make the move. Probably it is. It comes back to this whole thing of talking and listening. The ability to listen to what is wanted, whether you're in an interview or whether you're chatting someone up, or whether you're doing a newspaper interview. It's all about listening and all about trying to understand, you know, what the other person wants. And at the end of the day, you're trying to be attractive to an employer, right? Whoever the employer is needs to feel that they're attracted to you, whether it's intellectually or whatever it is. But there has to be some chemistry that goes on there to encourage someone to want to hire you. At the end of the day, you're going to be around those people for a long time every day, so you want to be able to get on with people. So yeah, sure. I don't worry too much about whether I failed. I try and learn from mistakes. I try and learn from things that have gone wrong. I try and work with people to bring back where there's to get to success. I mean, you're always going to have failure. There's always things that are not going to work, whether it's whatever it is. I mean, I remember one horrible newspaper job I did up in Birmingham, where I was there for a week, and everywhere I turned, I got beaten to the story by the guy from The Sun, or the guy from The Mirror, or the guy from somewhere else. And actually, no, I worked for The Mirror, and eventually my bosses at The Mirror said, Geoff, you better come home. And I was so relieved to get back on the M1, you wouldn't believe. But I'd completely failed, and I sort of came back and sort of had to sit down, figure out what I'd done wrong, why it wasn't working, and come back again. I think when you do have failure, the other thing is try and get a quick win back. You know, don't just sit there being a failure. Try and make something happen so that you get a win back. I was a waiter at Bill Wyman's wedding. So Bill Wyman from the Rolling Stones got married to Mandy Smith, and the reception was at, I think it was the Dorchester. So I booked a room, hired a waiter's uniform, sneaked into the room, changed, and then went down into the through all the back service areas, and then sneaked into the reception carrying some coffee to go and serve. Unfortunately, they were at the starter stage when I was walking around with the coffee. But I was walking around inside there with, there was Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and all the Stones there, and I was pretending to be a waiter. I think half the people there thought I was a waiter, the other half thought I was a bouncer. And then at the end, and I kept going back in and trying to take pictures, and in the end, the bouncers actually beat me up and threw me out. So there you go.